Hello, you're listening to E-Bible Fellowship's new open form excerpts, and now we present the following excerpt.
Welcome to our question and answer program. Please go ahead with your call.
Good evening, Mr. McCann. Could you go to Judges 19, verse 16, please?
Judges 19, verse 16. And behold, there came an old man from his work out of the field at even, which was also of Mount Ephraim, and he sojourned in Gibeah, but the men of the place were Benjamites. I'm going to read it a little bit. It's been a while since I looked at this, so I want to get some of the context. Okay. This is when the man is coming with his concubine. The Levite is coming. In verse 14, and they passed on and went their way, and the sun went down upon them when they were by Gibeah, which belongeth to Benjamin. And they turned aside thither to go in and to lodge in Gibeah. And when he went in, he sat him down in a street of the city, for there was no man that took them into his house to lodging. And behold, there came an old man from his work out of the field at even, which was also of Mount Ephraim, and he sojourned in Gibeah, but the men of the place were Benjamites. When he had lifted up his eyes, he saw a wayfaring man in the street of the city. And the old man said, Whither goest thou, and whence comest thou? And he said unto him, We are passing from Bethlehem, Judah, toward the side of Mount Ephraim. From thence am I, and I went to Bethlehem, Judah, but I am now going to the house of Jehovah. And there is no man that receiveth me to house. And finally, the old man tells him to lodge not in the street. Verse 21, so he brought him into his house and gave provender unto the asses, and they washed their feet and did eat and drink.
Yeah, in verse 16, my question is in the word even. Can this has to do with the 12 hour and there is no more work and no more salvation?
Well, even is the time when night begins. You know, the night watches begin at even, and I don't think the focus on it found in Judges 19 is on the church. It's taking place in Israel, and one thing we see, this traveler, this sojourner, comes to the city at even, just like Lot, as we were just talking about in Genesis 19. We find Lot is at there came two angels to Sodom at even, and Lot sat in the gate of Sodom. And Lot, seeing them, rose up to meet them. We don't find that this man and his companions, his concubine, were met at the gate. They were going to just kind of sleep in the streets. And then this old man noticed them. So it indicates, I think, that it's a dead church, that the Lord has departed, and there's no righteous ones at the gate. Now, God is still taking care of his people. I think we can gather through this old man finding him in the street and bringing him into his house. There is a similar picture with Lot bringing the two messengers into his house, but there is a difference between the cases too. This is focused on a church that is in darkness, that is under the wrath of God, and especially we know the story that the men will do similar wickedness to the men of Sodom, and they will force the situation so that the concubine is delivered up to them. The Levite delivers his concubine to them. They abuse her all the night, and then in the morning, she's on the threshold and she is dead. And so then the man takes the concubine I don't know if he took her, he leaves with her, and maybe he took her home. I don't remember, but he takes her to a place and he cuts her up into 12 pieces and sends a piece of the woman to the 12 tribes to highlight the atrocity, the evil that has been done in Israel, and it leads to almost the destruction of the tribe of Benjamin, and many of the soldiers of the various tribes that battled Benjamin died. Benjamin was winning for a while, and when you look at it, you wonder what's going on, and then the answer is every man did that which was right in his own eyes. It is an apostate state or nation of Israel portraying the apostate churches and congregations, and there's no king in the land. God is not present. He has abandoned them, a very terrible judgment.
Because I was wondering in verse 22 if the door in the place has to do with the gate, Mr. Mac.
Well, let's read that. Judges 19:22. Now, as they were making their hearts merry, behold, the men of the city, certain sons of Belial, beset the house round about, and beat at the door, and spake to the master of the house, the old man, saying, Bring forth the man that came into thine house, that we may know him. And the man, the master of the house, went out unto them, and said unto them, Nay, my brethren, nay, I pray you, do not so wickedly, seeing that this man is come into mine house. Do not this folly. Behold, here is my daughter, a maiden, and his concubine. Them will I bring out now, and humble ye them, and do with them what seemeth good unto you. But unto this man do not so vile a thing. But the men would not hearken to him. So the man took his concubine, and brought her forth unto them, and they knew her, and abused her all the night until the morning. And when the day began to spring, they let her go. Then came the woman in the dawning of the day, and fell down at the door of the man's house where her lord was, till it was light. And her lord rose up in the morning, and opened the doors of the house, and went out to go his way. And behold, the woman, his concubine, was falling down at the door of the house, and her hands were upon the threshold. And he said unto her, Up, and let us be going. But none answered. Then the man took her up upon an ass, and the man rose up and gat him unto his place. And that's when he divided her and sent pieces to the various tribes. We can see, I haven't gone through this verse to verse, so, I guess with some caution, I would say it looks like the spiritual picture is that the concubine is also a picture of the corporate church delivered up for judgment. The concubine, typically in the Bible, is a wife, but normally a lesser kind of a wife. When we look at, Sarah and Hagar, and Sarah tells Abraham that she made a mistake and you have to send this woman away, and he hearkens to her. He does send her away. And so here it would just be a picture of the church that has relationship, somewhat intimate relationship with Christ. But the time comes when the church is unfaithful, and so he delivers the church up, and the church is abused by the emissaries of Satan, who these men obviously are, under the power of. They abused this woman, like the word of God and the churches and congregations were trampled underfoot during the time when judgment began at the house of God.
Thanks for watching, and be on the lookout for more new open forum excerpts that will be added periodically.